Hello, good morning. Hope everybody is doing well today. Today's project is salt dough or homemade Play-Doh, kind of depending on how you look at it. So yeah, it's pretty easy, very simple, a lot of things that we have around the house already, so hopefully. So what we're gonna do is start off with 2 tablespoons of salt. All I have is coarse sea salt, so it's a little grainy, but you're gonna mix that with 2 tablespoons of warm water. Now, if all you have is coarse salt as well, and you want it to be a little bit more dissolved, I suppose you can boil it down to where the salt dissolves into there. Just make sure that it's cool enough to work with once you start to mix your your dough. So after we mix the salt in the water and we dissolve that salt down, you're gonna put in 1 tablespoon of cooking oil, like a vegetable oil. And we'll mix that in there. If you want to color your dough, you can color it with acrylic paint at this step if you have acrylic paint, or you can also use food coloring, one of our trusty friends. This would be a great time to discuss color mixing with kids. So you can play around with that. I'm doing 3 parts red to 1 part blue. Yeah, I kind of want it to be a little bit more on the magenta side. And we'll mix that in there. Ooh, that looks intense. So once we get that, then we can start to mix in our flour. So this is going to be 4 tablespoons of flour. And you can play around with the ratios on that. Like if you want more, you can just double it. And you'll mix that together. Ooh. So this is getting to be very purple. And you'll mix that till it's a dough. If you don't want to add food coloring at this point, or if you don't have food coloring, you can just leave it as like the regular dough color, and then once it's dry, you can paint it however you want it. So if you're just kind of wanting to play around with color, you can add color in there. Or if you want to use it to mold something, and you want more of a planned coloring, you can always paint it after it's dry. So once you mix it, you'll then put it on a cutting board or a tabletop, and you'll just knead the dough and kind of make sure it's all consistently mixed together. And then you can play around with it and mold things. This doesn't need to be baked, it can just dry on its own. But I mixed some green earlier, so you can just tear a little bit off and make shapes. You could make jewelry beads with this. You could let it dry and then add it to jewelry, but your hands are kind of your tools for this. So you don't need a whole lot. You can use toothpicks though. You can use forks, you can use your silverware, you can use objects that you have around your house to help you mold. You can use cookie cutters, you can roll it out and do cookie cutters. You can create all sorts of things. So for a bead, you would just roll it up into a ball or whatever shape you want your bead. If you want a square bead, you can use your hands to. Since this is fresh dough, it's really soft. This one's kind of set out just a little bit, but you can use a toothpick to make your slot for your bead, and then you can let that dry. Possibilities are endless, right? Creativity is kind of all up to you. There's no wrong way to use this stuff. You could take 2 parts and kind of twist them together. You can make little candy cane things. Just kind of play around. Have fun with it. This can be stored in an airtight container, and it can be kept for probably about 5 days. There's lots of different recipes that you can find online as well. If you do this and then you kind of want to play around with other recipes, go ahead and search those. One that I use a lot around Christmas time is with cinnamon and applesauce, and that can be baked as well, and it also makes your house smell really well. So you can look into that as well. Yeah, have fun, be creative, stay positive, and share what you make with us. So yeah, just tag the Quincy Art Center at Quincy Art Center and visit our website, quincyartcenter.org. You can look at upcoming classes that we have. I know that everybody's kind of focused on the summer right now because we feel like that's when things are gonna start getting back to normal. And we have our summer programs up there right now, so take a look at those. We've got some art meets science classes coming up that are really exciting, and those fill up really quickly. So if you like things like this, where you mix things and you study things and you learn how things and objects and materials work together to create new things, those would be really great classes to take. And if you're an adult, we also have classes for you guys too. And this is something that you guys can do at home for any age. So have fun. Enjoy the rest of your day.